Test, test.
I imagine it's very, very. Tend to them.
Test, test. Test, test.
Test, test.
Good morning. On behalf of the faculty and staff from Carroll County Middle School, it is my honor to welcome you to our annual Veterans Day program. And just some interesting facts about our program. It began in the 1970s and has continued every year since, with one exception, and that was the COVID pandemic year of 2020. So this is very much a tradition here at our school, and our primary focus is to bring awareness to our students, to all of the sacrifices and everything that our veterans have done over the years, past and present, to protect our freedoms and serve the American people. So this is definitely a real life history lesson and is so important to our school, and we just thank all of you for being here. I do want to say that our commander from the VFW could not be here today because of the death of a veteran, and they take their role very seriously, and they were doing things to support that family in Culpeper, Virginia. So we keep them in our thoughts and prayers. And just to really compliment our JROTC students, they work tirelessly to get this program together. As a teacher here at the middle school, we are always very excited to see our returning students. And I'm just very impressed to say that the majority of our program today is being run by 9th graders. So these students were just 8th graders like you all last year, and have really put forth a lot of work in preparing our program today, and we are proud of all of our JROTC students. So we will begin our program.
Everyone, please stand for the arrival of our veterans and distinguished guests and the presentation of colors. Please remain standing until the colors have been posted.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Post the colors. Please be seated. When Francis Scott Key wrote The Star-Spangled Banner over 200 years ago, he called America the land of the free and the home of the brave. Those words are as true today as they were then. Throughout this nation's history, America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors. We can never fully repay our debt of gratitude to the more than 1 million American service members who died while serving our nation, or the 1.4 million who were wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the 25 million veterans still living today. These words are inscribed on the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and a people they never met. Those words apply equally to many of our World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, Gulf War, and the global war on terrorism veterans as well. They apply to today's active duty service members, tomorrow's veterans who are helping to maintain peace throughout the world. Today, it is our privilege to say thank you to all of America's veterans, to let them know that we appreciate them for their service and honor them for their sacrifices. The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay it. Today, we celebrate America's veterans for keeping this nation the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We would like to take this time to recognize and thank the veterans organizations that have joined us today. Please stand as your organization is announced. Veterans of Foreign Wars, Grover King Post 1115. Ladies in Junior Auxiliary Grover King Post 1115. Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 7568. Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 7726. American Legion Post 245. Disabled American Veterans and Ladies Auxiliary of the Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 23. Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 710. We will now listen to a selection from our own Carroll County Middle School Chorus. Please give your full attention to them as they sing a selection. Please stand when your branch's song is played.
Till introduce myself and my song and this wonderful chorus. Give them a hand, please. I'm John Carpenter, the ag teacher here, and I've had this great honor for the last almost decade to sing songs I've written for our vets, and I've always regretted that I couldn't be a vet, or I chose not to be a vet. But my dad was. And I'd like to dedicate this to him. But all the vets would tell you, and I've really talked to thousands of vets, that they did none of this for themselves. They did it for you, the future generations. And I was just thinking about what I should say. I'd say, wouldn't it be good if we didn't need an army? Wouldn't it be good if we didn't need a police force? Wouldn't it be great if everybody in this world could get along? But honestly, I don't believe that's meant to be. So the one thing we don't want to lose, as each one of these chairs become an empty chair, because old man time is the battle we're all going to lose, is the feeling of what this day really means. So this song is called Cross in the Field. And the first verse is about how everybody in the world wants to come here. And I don't know. All I can speak for is myself. But this country has been really good to me. And I think everybody here sitting in those chairs would say the same thing. And then the second verse is about our policemen and how much we should respect and honor them. The third verse is about the guy that dies in the field. And he doesn't get the Medal of Honor because nobody sees him. There's no one left to see him. And this new verse that I wrote specifically for today is about all the soldiers who came back, who never really came back, and the price that they paid. It's called Cross in the Field. He is the one standing, a guest in the field, without his hands, no thanksgiving due, sending money his own family to feed. He doesn't want much, just freedom like me. Freedom, oh freedom, easy to say, when no one's at the door to take it away. The cross is lined up where our boys lay. Freedom, oh freedom, the price we pay. He is the one standing in a concrete field. The rocks rain down over his shield. A man in blue is who you see, but he is freedom, freedom to me. Freedom, oh freedom, easy to say. He cleans the streets where our children play. The caissons line up to take him away. Freedom, oh freedom, the price we pay. He's the last one speaking when all has been said. The last one standing, all his friends dead. No one to see him clutching his gun. The Medal Freedom, oh freedom, easy to say, when no one's at the door to take it away. The cross is lined up where our boys lay. Freedom, oh freedom, the price we pay. He is the one standing in his own field, the fox so clear, the morning still. No one can see him clutching his gun. Somebody's father, somebody's son. Freedom, oh freedom, easy to say, when no one's at the door to take it away. The cross is lined up where our boys lay. Freedom, oh freedom, the price we pay. Freedom, oh freedom, the price we pay.
Each year, Our eighth grade students participate in the nationwide patriotic essay contest, the Patriots Pen. And at this time, I would like to introduce VFW Representative Mr. Lee Houston, who will present the awards to our eighth grade winners. Third place, Macy Melton. Second place, Mackenzie Billings. And our first place winner, Miss Mackenzie Stone. We are very proud of these wonderful riders and hope they will enjoy their cash prizes. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce the Voice of Democracy winner, and that would be the JROTC's very own Melissa Mize. At this time, I would like to introduce the Patriots Pen winner, Mackenzie Stone. Mackenzie is the daughter of Sheila and David Stone and is a member of Mrs. Sarah Blair's advanced English class. Mackenzie is a member of the CCMS Student Council and enjoys art and music. Mackenzie hopes to one day pursue a career in architecture. Mackenzie is now going to read her speech.
Patriotism is loving and respecting your country. It is not just flag waving and 4th of July celebrating. It is also in the choices we make every day. I show patriotism and loyalty to my country by being a good citizen, helping others, and doing the right thing. Something I can do to assist my country is to gain knowledge about what is happening in the world and how our government works. I may not be able to vote yet, but I know I must be well informed. I listen to the news, read articles, and ask questions. When I am old enough to vote, I will vote seriously because voting is one of the significant ways in which we keep our democracy in good shape. I also do my own share to help in my own community. I volunteer for cleanup days in my community and help with food drives. By helping others, I'm doing my own small part to help make my town a wonderful place to be. I think that if we have good communities, then we have a good country. Helping doesn't always have to be large. It can be as simple as cleaning up trash, helping a neighbor, or being kind to someone who is having a bad day. Another thing that I do to show patriotism is to respect the people who work for our country. These include soldiers, police officers, firefighters, and even teachers. These people try their best to save us, teach us, and fight for our freedom. I always try to thank them and have respect for their work. Most importantly, I am serving my own country by being nice to all people and treating them equally. America is a country made up of many different people. We don't all look or think the same, but we are all deserving of respect. Being a good citizen is doing the right thing and making sure that everyone feels included. These are the ways: by learning, contributing, and respecting others. I show my love and loyalty to my nation. Patriotism is not words. Patriotism is a deed, and even small deeds can make a big difference.
This year's Voice of Democracy winner is Melissa Mize. Melissa is the daughter of Mitchell Mize and John Cal Mize, and she is a junior at Carroll County High School. Melissa is a member of the Cavalier Marching Band, the girls' varsity soccer team, and of course, the JROTC program. She also proudly serves as junior class vice president. After completing high school, Melissa hopes to attend the University of Virginia and study English. Melissa?
When I was young, my family would host the party every 4th of July. It was what you would expect from your average Independence Day celebration. We had hamburgers, hot dogs, American flags, and of course, fireworks. I remember these nights fondly, sitting with my friends and my family around the fire. Not everyone there had been born and raised in the United States of America, yet they had gathered under that same night sky to celebrate and show their love for our home. Even back then, I saw these people and admired them in their ways of coming together to show their love for America. To me, this was patriotism at its finest. Although the party slowly ceased as I grew older, I do not forget my country when July comes around. I think of my own patriotism. I am a patriot, am I not? I grew up here, after all. I support the United States, and I love the United States. Despite all its flaws, I still find the good within. My friends, my family, they all live here. I cannot imagine myself growing up in any other country. I would say I'm devoted to this country, yet I sometimes find myself wondering, is it enough to simply claim I have love for my country, or must I also have actions to back up my words? My aging over the past few years has led me to have a greater awareness of the state of our nation, and more importantly, the state of patriotism. It is the same in many ways, yet has also changed so much. People still celebrate the 4th of July, and the flag hasn't changed, but as time passes and the nations of the world continue in their own history, we find ourselves amidst it all. Our country fights for freedom for all, not just for its own. I think back to what patriotism has been defined to me as over the years. Put simply, it was the devotion a person had for their country and how much they could show it. I always thought of flags, parades, and grand celebrations, but now I reflect over what I was taught, and I realize that this is only the surface. It can be difficult to fully capture the true meaning of patriotism, and even harder to define a person who shows it in a way deemed correct. Seeing the people around me, the veterans and the servicemen and the civilians all alike, I have come to the belief that patriotism is more than just a proclaimed love. It is something that is shown through a person and their beliefs and the actions that stem from these beliefs, no matter how big or how small. To simply say acts of patriotism would cover a broad range of ideas. They could be small, like displaying the flag in your window, or large, like holding an event in support of America's veterans. No matter what, the intention is the same. It is the intention to display your dedication to our country. I believe that this dedication is what makes America strong and a patriot patriotic. It is displayed in what we think, what we say, and even how we act. Above all, this love of America stems from within our own communities, and it only grows from there. The background of patriotism is those who, despite being faced with the notion they have no control over the country, work hard to improve their home. Those who have a true, deep faith in our country make it a place like no other in the world. As I return to the moment, the final question I find myself asking is, what do I do for my country? I ponder it and I realize I do all I can. I am not old enough to serve in the military, nor am I old enough to vote, but I am old enough to stand up. I am old enough to support my community and ensure it thrives. I am old enough to help out my fellow citizens, veterans, and foreigners alike. After all, patriotism is about the love you have for your country. My love for our country lies in the people within it, and all of my actions are for them. Commander Dave Petrie, U.S. Navy retiree, served 22 years in the United States Navy, combining active duty and reserve service with distinction. A career surface warfare and nuclear propulsion officer on active duty, and later an engineering duty officer in the Navy Reserve, he held critical leadership positions afloat and ashore that spanned naval surface warfare, nuclear operations, and engineering management. Throughout his military career, he received numerous personal and UN awards. These include 4 Navy Commendation Medals, the Navy Achievement Medal, the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, and 2 National Defense Service Medals, as well as numerous command and unit citations that recognize operational excellence and team achievements. Commander Petrie's civilian career includes technical and leadership roles with Raytheon and Siemens, as well as serving as Vice President of Marketing at Nestor Hosiery, where he launched and grew the nationally recognized Farm to Feed sock brand. Today, he is an independent business consultant for his company, Sinashura Consulting, providing marketing and communication support to clients. He is also the communications director for the nonprofit advocacy organization, National Security Leaders for America. Commander Petrie holds a bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering from Pennsylvania State University, a master's degree in engineering management from Southern Methodist University, and an MBA from Wake Forest University. He lives in Mount Airy, North Carolina with his wife, Dr. Lisa Petrie, and enjoys music, cycling, and hiking.
I've got to make a little bit of an adjustment here, so bear with me. I brought my own teleprompter. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here and speak with all of you present on this Veterans Day, a day when our country pauses to recognize the service of our men and women who have worn the uniform, who stood the watch, and swore an oath to defend and support the Constitution of the United States. I want to thank, specifically thank Carroll County School Superintendent Dwayne Huff and Carroll County Clerk of the Circuit Court Gerald Goh for joining us today. I also want to point out and say hello to those in attendance who've served and received some of our most revered awards in the military, including the Distinguished Service Cross, the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, and those who have been prisoners of war. They deserve our utmost respect and reverence for the service that they provided our country. I also want to say thank you and welcome to all the veteran service organizations. It was quite an impressive list to see you all represented here today. Thank you for joining us. Today, I'd like to share a bit of my story because it's really a story about all of us, about what it means to be Americans who come from different places, believe different things, and still find ways to stand together. After our country's founding, our national motto became E Pluribus Unum, from many, one. It is more than just words that appear on our coins. It's a challenge to every generation to make it true again. I grew up in a small town in northwest Pennsylvania called Girard. It's a rural community about the same size as Hillsville. My father was an Army veteran, and I was the first generation of the Petrie family to attend college. Girard had one high school. We had fewer than 500 students, and my graduating class was around 140. It was the kind of place where everyone knew your name, knew your parents, probably knew the car you drove. In fact, I was often referred to as Elmer and Florence's grandson more than my own name. Faith, family, and community were the backbone. People worked hard. They looked out for each other and showed up for the football and basketball games, concerts, and the annual school play. We learned patriotism early, not as a slogan, but respect for the flag, the country, and those who served in it. I imagine it's probably not much different here in Hillsville either. But Girard was also a place where almost everyone looked and believed the same. At the time, that felt normal. I didn't realize how much that sameness shaped the way I saw the world, or how much I wasn't seeing yet. My first glimpse of a bigger America came that summer before my senior year in high school at Boys State, put on by the American Legion. There I met young men from every part of Pennsylvania, from different backgrounds, different faiths, and it cracked open a window of understanding that the country I thought I knew was far larger, far more complex than my little corner of it. The window opened wider when I went to Penn State. There I met students from all over Pennsylvania and beyond, people who looked, believed, and lived very differently from me. My freshman roommate was from New Jersey, and he came from a much wealthier family. We didn't have much in common, but we learned to respect each other and help each other succeed. One experience really stood out to me, and that's when I was elected the president of an honor society in my sophomore year. The organization was mostly women. There was only a few men in that organization. I had to listen more and really develop leadership skills because I realized that good ideas just don't belong
to people who are in charge. It was humbling, and it made me better. College taught me that leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room, it's about hearing the voices we might often miss. Those lessons would serve me well in the Navy. I joined the Navy through the Nuclear Propulsion Officer Program. It recruited college students strong in math and science. I expected to meet very intelligent people, but I didn't realize just how different everyone would be. At Officer Candidate School, my roommate was a black Jamaican immigrant. During the hardest weeks of my life, we had to rely on each other for everything: inspections, studying, and moral support. We didn't look alike or come from the same world, but we became a team. And that's when I first saw what E pluribus unum really means. A little later, a couple years later, at Surface Warfare Officer School, I used a phrase I heard my grandfather use countless times. I didn't realize that it was hurtful to those of the Jewish faith. A classmate called me on it, and he was right. A few years later, I embarrassed myself yet again when I made an offhand comment about a meal a young officer was eating, only to learn that he was a Muslim. Both moments stung me very hard. They taught me something vital: never assume the person next to you is just like you. Ask, learn, listen. That's how respect grows. When I reported aboard my first ship, the USS George Washington, I led sailors from every part of America, each with their own story. As I learned more about them and their different life experiences, I became a better leader. As a department head on a destroyer, I was responsible for qualifying all our young junior officers. One young officer felt I was holding him back because he was black. It shook me. I had to stop and question myself. But after I talked with my executive officer and the department chief petty officers who worked with me, all of whom were black, they reminded me that fairness means holding everyone to the same high standard. Lowering expectations helps no one. That's when I truly understood what it means to be American. It isn't sameness, it's shared purpose. We don't have to think alike or look alike to serve the same mission. We're strongest not when we agree on everything, but when we work together towards something greater than ourselves. I left active duty in 1999 while stationed in San Diego and transferred to the Navy Reserves. In 2004, my family and I moved to Mount Airy. It reminded me a lot of Girard. Small town spirit, people who cared about faith and community and family. But Mount Airy was also different than that small town I grew up in. Southern culture and roots were strong in Mount Airy. It had more diversity. It had a strong black community and a growing Hispanic population. At first, we definitely were the outsiders. People were kind, but cautious. But over time, I came to see that just like Girard, Mount Airy's greatest strength is its sense of community. That simple act of waving to a stranger, the belief that people should look out for one another. Still, I also learned how quickly misunderstanding can divide us. When I advocated for curbside recycling years ago, some folks labeled me as that guy from California. Nevertheless, I kept at it and was joined by others in the community who shared my vision. In 2012, the program became a reality and continues to exist today. It happened not because we all agreed on everything, but because we shared a vision of making our town better. That's what community is about. It reminded me of something the late Senator John McCain said when he first ran for Congress. He was accused of not being a true Arizonan because he moved there after retiring from the Navy and marrying his wife. He replied, "I never lived anywhere very long in the Navy, but perhaps the place I lived the longest was as a POW in a camp in Vietnam." McCain, one of my heroes, understood that home isn't about how long you've lived somewhere, it's about what you give to it. He reminded us countless times that different does not mean less. The truth is, American strength lies in our collective differences, bound together by unity of purpose. Yet, some people claim diversity is not our strength. I see it differently and believe the opposite to be true. If we forget E pluribus unum, we forget who we are. I retired from the Navy in 2009 after 22 years of service, and retiring didn't mean I left behind the lessons I learned. It meant having to find new ways to live them. One of the most important lessons was this: you rarely knew the politics of the person standing next to you on the bridge. or in the combat center, or down in the engine room. And that's how it should be. We serve the Constitution, not a person, not a party. In uniform, no one cares how you voted. They only care whether you will do your job and have your shipmates back. That's the America I still believe in, one built on duty, trust, and shared values, not on the divisions that fill our headlines. When I look at my fellow veterans, I see what our country can be. People from every background, united by something greater than ourselves. Our strength has never come from uniformity. It comes from unity, from choosing every day to stand together as Americans. And that same choice belongs to all of us in every room, in every home, and throughout every community. In 1776, while Franklin, Adams, and Jefferson were drafting the Declaration of Independence, they were also helping design our nation's Great Seal. On it, they placed 3 Latin words, E pluribus unum, out of many one. It was meant to describe 13 colonies becoming one nation, but today it has evolved to mean something even larger. One people from many backgrounds, bound by shared ideals. This year we celebrated the Army's 250th birthday back in June. We celebrated the Navy's 250th last month, and yesterday was the Marine Corps' 250th birthday. Next year we'll celebrate 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. These anniversaries remind us that our nation's birth and its defense by those who served it have always been intertwined. The Declaration expressed the ideals. The services have defended them ever since. 2.5 centuries later, every veteran, every citizen still inherits that same duty, to make freedom real, not just declared. The founders pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to the idea that we could be one people out of many. Every generation since has had to renew that promise, and now it's our turn. So what does E pluribus unum mean for all of you here today? For the students, it means you get to shape what America looks like next. You get to decide whether we build bridges or walls, whether we listen or we label, whether we see differences as threats or as teachers. Being American isn't about where you're from, what you look like, who you love, what you believe, or which group you belong to. It's about what you're willing to stand for. Every time you include someone new, every time you stand up for someone different, every time you reach across a divide, you're living the same principle that veterans have fought to defend. That's how you honor Veterans Day. Not with words, but with actions that reflect the best of what this nation can be. And to the teachers here today, you all serve too. Not on battlefields, but in the classroom. And trust me, I'd rather be on the battlefield than in the classroom. Veterans defend our nation abroad, but you defend its promise at home. You frame what our children learn, that truth matters, that history has lessons, and that democracy depends on citizens who can think, question, and care. You also decide how they learn. Every classroom you lead is a small version of America, filled with different voices, talents, and beliefs. When you encourage students to listen, to reason, and to respect one another, you show that the learning is an antidote to fear. And together, through the example you set, you show what E pluribus unum looks like in practice, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. When outside voices question your work, you remind us that education isn't indoctrination, it's liberation. It's the freedom to think, to imagine, and to grow. It's what allowed a young man from a small town in Pennsylvania, who once saw the world through a very narrow window, see his country more clearly and serve it more fully. Sitting in your classrooms may be the next Colin Powell or Peter Pace, who were the first African American and Hispanic American to lead the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Lisa Franchetti, the first woman to be the Chief of Naval Operations. Or perhaps one of the many famous Virginia veterans, like Staff Sergeant Darrell C. Shifty Powers from Quincho, who served in the famed 101st Airborne Division during World War II, and was portrayed by Peter Youngblood Hills in the HBO series Band of Brothers. Vice Admiral Samuel L. Gravely Jr. of Richmond, who's the first African American to serve aboard a warship as a U.S. Navy officer, the first to command a Navy ship, and the first to achieve the rank of admiral. General Alexander Archer Vandergrift from Charlottesville, who received the Medal of Honor and was the Commandant of the Marine Corps. Teachers, in that sense, you are our nation's quiet veterans, fighting every day for the minds and hearts of the next generation, and for that you have my most profound respect. From many, one, not because we're all the same, but because despite our differences, we choose every day to stand together as Americans. That's how we honor those who serve, by each and every one of us keeping the promise of E Pluribus Unum. Thank you very much.
Since the beginning of the American Revolution until today, over 44 million American citizens have served in the United States military. At this time, we would like to recognize all veterans from each war or conflict, especially those joining us today and those who work here at the middle school. As we announce a war or conflict, we request that all veterans that served during that era to please stand. World War II. Korean War. Vietnam War. Panama, Grenada. The Gulf War. The Balkans and Somalia. Iraq and Afghanistan. Thank you all for your patriotism and courage. We especially recognize those veterans decorated for acts of heroism and gallantry. The Medal of Honor is the United States of America's highest military honor, awarded for personal acts of valor above and beyond the call of duty. The Distinguished Service Cross is awarded to service members for extraordinary heroism. The Silver Star is awarded for gallantry in action. Also, the Bronze Star may be awarded for acts of heroism. All veterans decorated for acts of heroism and gallantry, please rise. Many of our veterans carry physical scars of wounds received during their service. The Purple Heart is awarded to service members wounded by an instrument of war in the hands of the enemy. All Purple Heart recipients, please rise. Finally, one of the terrible risks of war is being taken prisoner. We would like to recognize all veterans who have suffered this horrible fate. Any prisoners of war, please rise. As you entered the school this morning, you may have noticed a small table in a place of honor. It is set for one. This table is our way of symbolizing the fact that members of the profession of arms are missing from our midst. They are commonly called POWs, or MIAs. We call them brothers. They are unable to be with us this morning, and so we remember them. This table set for one is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his oppressors. Remember, the tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. Remember, the single red rose displayed in a vase reminds us of the families and loved ones of our comrades in arms who keep the faith awaiting their return. Remember, the red ribbon tied so prominently on the vase is reminiscent of the red ribbon worn upon the lapel and breasts of thousands who bear witness to their unyielding determination to demand a proper accounting of our missing. Remember, the candle. The candle is lit, symbolizing the upward reach of their unconquerable spirit. Remember, a slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate. Remember, there is salt upon the bread plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they wait. Remember, the glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us today. Remember, the chair. The chair is empty. They are not here. Remember, all of you who served with them and called them comrades, who depended upon their might and aid and relied upon them, for surely they have not forsaken you. Remember, until the day they come home. Remember. And now I ask that you please give your full attention to Miss Gallimore of the Ladies Auxiliary of the Disabled Americans Veterans, Chapter 23, as we perform the traditional meaning of the 13 folds of the American flag.
The point of honor of the flag of the United States is a canton of blue containing the stars representing the states of those who serve. The point of honor of the flag of the United States stresses from the left to the right, and the only time that it is inverted and displayed in the manner in which you see it today is when it comes to serve as a pall on the casket of a veteran who has served his country honorably in uniform. In the evening, in the Armed Forces of the United States, at the ceremony of retreat, after the taps have been sounded, the flag is lowered and folded in a triangle fold and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning it is brought out at the ceremony of reveille and ran up aloft as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in the eternal life, and the fold we make in honor and remembrance of these veterans whom we are commemorating today, for they too gave a portion of his life for the defense of our country and our flag, and we are here today in order to show forth to their families and friends that their efforts to attain peace throughout the world have not been in vain and shall never be forgotten. We fold to the left in the shape of a triangle, for this is where our hearts lie. It is with our hearts we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We fold again to the left in the shape of a triangle, representing our weaker nature, for we as American citizens trust in God, and it is to him we turn in times of peace as well as in times of war for his divine guidance. We fold to the right as a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through these same armed forces that we protect our country and our flag from all her enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. We fold again to the right is a tribute to our country, for in the words of the immortal Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it's still our country, right or wrong. We fold to the left as a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death that we might see the light of day. And this fold is made to honor Mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. We fold again to the left as a tribute to our womanhood, for it has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the characters of the men and women that they have made this country great have been molded. We fold to the right as a tribute to Father, for he too has given of his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since she was born. We fold from the stripes toward the stars, for whereas the stripes represent the 13 original colonies that formed our republic, they are now embodied in the 50 sovereign states represented by the stars, so that the stars cover the stripes. We fold to the left in the shape of a triangle, for in the eyes of a Hebrew citizen, this represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. We fold again to the left in the shape of a triangle, for in the eyes of a Christian citizen, this represents an emblem of eternity, and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. When our flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, which reminds us of our national motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a three-cornered cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, and followed by the comrades and shipmates, have preserved for us the rights, privileges, and freedom which we are enjoying today.
At this time, it would be appropriate to honor the 1.2 million soldiers that gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country. Everyone, please stand and join in a moment of silence to offer thoughts, prayers, and to contemplate the sacrifices of our veterans. Please remain standing for the playing of taps.
Please be seated. As we conclude our Veterans Day ceremony, is to appreciate and exercise the rights and freedoms that we enjoy today that they fought and died for. We also need to fulfill our responsibilities to these same freedoms. Finally, we all need to take every opportunity to thank our veterans whenever we have the chance. For our part, we will remember your service this day and every day. Thank you for everything you've done for all of us. Please stand for the retiring of colors, and please remain standing for the departure of our veterans. Retrieve the colors.
Students, I thank you for your cooperation and your attendance and your respect today. And I do ask that you remain seated and allow our guests to exit the building. And we will return to Block 1. And I just want to say one final thanks to Commander Petrie for his inspiring words.